welcome and a namaste to all of you. Let us discuss about Rahu in the 5th house today. Before we move on to Rahu and the 5th house, let us shed some light on its ancestry as the 5th house represents. Rahu was born of sage Marichi, who is in turn the son of Viprachitta, which means the wise mind. So, Rahu has his lineage from somebody who has a wise mind, giving him an exceptional mind of his own. His mother is known as Simhika, who was one of the daughters of Daksh Prajapati. Simhika, as the name suggests, is the lion lady or the fearless one. Rahu in the 5th house. Rahu in the 5th house gives a person a strong need to develop a creative and productive self. Rahu and its Karakas. Rahu denotes harsh speech and sarcasm. It denotes restless or a wavering mind. It goes on to denote a different country, movement into a different country, or rather traveling abroad, confusions, suspicions, gambling, especially when associated with the 5th house in its lower octave, and edging, betting, and winning in its higher octave. It denotes intelligence, especially in association with the 5th house. Sudden activities are very much associated with Rahu. The worship of Ma Durga, this I repeat every time because it is one of the most satisfied remedial measures. Rahu denotes anger. It is influential. Rahu has been noted to influence minds, especially when it is passing over your moon. Rahu denotes smoke. It gives results very quickly and, as stated above, with a great deal of sudden activities. Rahu is selfishness and it is the illusionist par excellence. The 5th house represents Putra Vidya. That is the synonym of the 5th house. So it has a lot to do with children and education. It is also the Karaka of the 5th house is Sutta or child. The ruler of the 5th house is Jupiter, and the body part it rules are the belly and the liver. So the mental makeup of Rahu would be devotion to God, mantra, tantra, spirituality, humility, and creativity. Good deeds in the past life, artistic talents and amusements, and earnings of wives, riches, cards, speculation, house of lottery are the financial aspects for the 5th house. Pronus is intelligence and creativity, and you can make a career out of competitive examinations if your 5th house and 6th house are good. It is the general intelligence and your capacity to grasp and learn, including memory for all that is learned. It is your capacity or individual writing, imagination, rote learning, creative ideas, ability to understand and speak clearly. 5th house also witnesses the willingness to impart knowledge. So, if the 5th lord is well placed, a person will have the ability to impart knowledge and also would be able to grasp and accumulate mantra, yantra, tantra shaktis. Person would also be able to move on to the bhakti marg. You would have the ability to manage funds, establish college, schools, institutions, and to establish libraries. There could be problems with speech because of bhavat bhavam, or somebody can have a stage fright. Somebody can have the analytical process of thought and speech in general, and a great procreation ability because the 5th house is associated with procreation also. There could be an adoption of the child or functioning of real or bogus gurus. There could be a strong devotion to the Almighty, because fifth house also represents your mantras and your ishtas. Knowledge and skill of performing the yagna. When we do an installation of a statue or an idol, which is also known as pratishtha, that is the setting up of an idol, this is also fall in the preview of the fifth house. Knowledge and skill as a medical person, and the expertise that you gain, the earned or the unearned fame one gets from films, stories, writings, all these things. Your authorship also falls in this category of the fifth house. Publications and non-publications also are of that point. Examination of curses of this life or previous life. Birth of own child, capacity to stick onto your ideas, gains of spouse from sources other than direct inheritance, and second sibling, grandchild's relation by marriage of the brother and sister, and similar such things. So let us come on to our first example of A.R. Rahman. A.R. Rahman is an Indian composer, singer, songwriter, music producer, musician, and philanthropist. A.R. Rahman's works are noted for integrating Eastern classical music with electronic music, world music, and traditional orchestral arrangements. Rahman's body of work for film and stage has been given him the nickname of the Mozart of Madras. He's the recipient of many national and international awards. In 2009, Time included Rahman on its list of world's most influential people. The UK-based world music magazine Songlines named him as one of tomorrow's world music icons in August 2011. A very low-key and very humble man, a person with a very low profile, A.R. Rahman established a school of music in Chennai. He has been known to integrate so many forms of music. He has played in each and every nook and cranny of the world, and yet he has maintained a very demure persona, rubbing shoulders in the world of music with the who's who of today's celebrities in the world of music, and having played to the audiences of huge capacity and large scale, he's still a very humble man. There has been a change in Rahman's religion, as is denoted by the fifth house. Rahman was born Dilip Kumar, a Hindu, and over a period of time, due to personal preferences and being influenced by the Sufi religion, they sought out the religion that they felt was close to their heart. And having felt its impact in their life, they turned onto the religion that they felt were very close to their heart. The next example that we see is that of Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett is an American business magnate, investor, speaker, philanthropist who serves as a chairman and CEO of Berkshire Hathaway. He's considered as one of the most successful investors in the world and has a net worth of US 84 billion as of June 3rd, 2018, making him the third wealthiest person in the world. In spite of all that, he has preferred to stay in the 5-bedroom apartment he bought way back in 1977. With his wife Suzanne, whom he married in 1952, he had 3 kids. He and Suzanne decided to live apart separately in 1977, but they remained married till her death in July 2004. One of his charitable foundations was established in her memory. Warren Buffett had started working or started applying his knowledge of commerce right from a very young age. By the time he was 14, he was earning nearly $150 a month, which during his tenure was quite an amount, just by selling papers. His creative abilities to generate money knew no bounds. He is also known to be very frugal and make do with very little. His essence is philanthropy, another part of the fifth house. He says that one needs to return to the society and it becomes an important part on the part of the well-off, of the rich, to do their bit to the society. He has joined hands with Bill and Melinda Gates to donate 83% of his charity, of his total wealth, to the foundation that would work for the betterment of mankind. Before we go on, we will be discussing the effects of Rahu on all these charts in detail in our last segment. Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar, the third Mughal emperor who reigned from 1556 to 1605, Akbar succeeded his father Humayun under a regent, Behram Khan, who helped the young emperor expand and consolidate the Mughal domains in India. A strong personality and a successful general, Akbar gradually enlarged the Mughal Empire to include nearly all the Indian subcontinent north of Godavari River. His power and influence, however, extended over the entire country because of Mughal military, political, cultural, and economic dominance. Akbar had the Navratnas, or the 9 gems in his court, who were good or exceptional in one of the fields of their own or had extreme intelligence. Though himself not a very learned person, but he respected education and he was the one to set up Deen-e-Ilahi, or the religion which finds its essence in various other religions like Hinduism, Islam, Christianity, and Zoroastrianism. He was also one of those people who, due to his position and power, consolidated it in such a way that he had one of the largest holdings of the Mughal Empire. Our final example for today is Elisabeth Kübler-Ross. She was the Swiss psychiatrist and author who is noted for her book on work with the dead and the dying. Her first book on death and dying in 1969 introduced the 5 stages of dying: denial, isolation, anger, bargaining, and depression before acceptance. All efforts to maintain power over one's own death. Throughout her life, she assisted perhaps 20,000 people through their transition into an afterlife. With the total belief in continuity of their life spirit through the experience of death, she hit upon a groundbreaking method of counseling, listening to the patient first and then continuing with the medical techniques. She's known to be innovative, creative, compassionate, and also a very helpful hand. Fifth house is also related to ancestry and parentage, and she has had a huge issue with her father because he did not want her to move into the medical profession. With Rahu placed into the nakshatra of Punarvasu for her in the 5th house, she showed a mother-like compassion to all around her, especially to the death and the dying. Now let us take up the cause of Rahu in the 5th house as it can be associated with all the examples that we have taken so far. Rahu in the 5th house shows strong relationship with children. A.R. Rahman has been known to train proteges and also other people around him in his institute that he created in Chennai, and many of them have taken on to become great musicians and singers. Pleasure through social interaction. We have seen that each one of them have had a good platform for social interaction and have cultivated it onto a greater scale. Warren Buffett is known to have made witty speeches in all the annual meetings that he holds, and he is known for having a good sense of humor. Ability to tap into sudden speculative gains and to have the creative effort to generate one is something that we see very much resonating with Warren Buffett's chart. Creative endeavor, mental efforts is something that we see in all the charts so far. A.R. Rahman, one of the best creative minds that we know of, and one who does not stop at being just creative. His efforts are known to be legendary. And this also resonates well with the chart of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. One-to-one relationship can be seen. In this respect, we take up the chart of Warren Buffett. Having lived in with the lady from 1977, when his wife left him to pursue her ambitions and her musical abilities, Warren Buffett lived with the same lady till 2006 before he got married to her. That was because he did not want to divorce his wife. So that comes to be a very different interpersonal relationship. These people often and very, very much are very conscious of themselves, and self-evaluation at all levels works highly with Rahu in the 5th house, especially when this Rahu is working on a higher node. An aptitude for applied education rather than formal education is something that we see in all the cases, and especially so in King Akbar's case, wherein though not very well read himself, he appreciated the talent and he made it a point to bring that talent to the forefront. Acting and fine arts. Well, one point here that we all should know, that Warren Buffett started playing an instrument way back in his school days and continues till date. Different types of publication. Publication here could mean writing papers, could mean being the author of many books, and so on. Flamboyancy. We can see that in case of Akbar, we can see that in case of many other people who would at one point have Rahu, which may be working on a lower node. A craving for mantra shakti. This is a given with people in Rahu in the 5th house. Creating their own legacy apart from that of their ancestors and parents. One thing resonating very well in the chart of Akbar and Warren Buffett. For all who are not aware of that, Warren Buffett was born in an influential family and his father was a US senator. There is a great deal of generosity of heart associated with Rahu in the 5th house, especially when it oscillates to a higher frequency and vibrancy. We know that the 5th house is also about establishment of institutes. All the people in our examples have established some institute of some kind, be it a charitable institute, be it a learning institute, be it a library. Akbar was said to have one of the biggest libraries in his time, where books of all religion were stored, books from various topics were stored, and there was a lot of translation work going on there. Warren Buffett is said to have institutionalized non-profit organizations, where one of them is also in the name of his late wife. A.R. Rahman went on to establish institute relating to music in Chennai, which has seen several of the musicians come and establish themselves in the world of music. So, we can deduce that a sense of creativity, generosity, and application of knowledge is most important when Rahu sits in the 5th house. The 5th house also denotes our ability to stick on to our ideas to generate more and better results. And so, if we have the ability to stick on to the ideas, move our Rahu into a higher octave such that it does not flicker or lose stance, we may be reaching a pinnacle which could be equivalent to those whom we have seen in the examples. take note and keep aware of that. Till we meet again, have a safe time.